Hey, what's up, guys? It's the Insane Freak here, doing Season 2, Part 3, Episode 10. I'm thinking we have like 2 episodes left, 2. I'm not sure, it's either 2 or 3, I'm not sure. This episode was a really nice Anri episode, and I did want to draw attention to what somebody had put in the comments for last week's episode, addressing the importance of Isaiah's thing, because it's essentially saying, which I guess I kind of underplayed it, and it's also because I've kind of, as far as the Isaiah comment goes, which is pretty much saying how Isaiah really is, and it kind of just shows how well fucking Shinra knows Isaiah. The reason why I kind of probably didn't pay attention or care as much about it is because, to me, that's kind of been common knowledge since the episode around his sisters and the thing he did for his sisters that was considered nice, although the way he played it, like, it's just kind of showing that Isaiah is just as biased and selfish and full of shit as everybody else, so it isn't anything different. Although I hate the fact that Durarara played the same game that a lot of other shows do, which is the beaten up character, even though he's beaten up, is able to run away from the fucking character who's stronger and faster than him. It's like, how are you getting away from Shizuo when Shizuo can outspeed and is stronger than you? It's just like, I don't understand it, but it's anime logic. I don't question it, folks. That just means I've become more aware as an anime fan if I'm questioning things such as, how is Isaiah outspeeding him? This episode was primarily more based around Anri than anything else. Although it has a lot of Mikado and Masaomi and Saika, Masaomi and Mikado subtext, but it's mainly an Anri episode because most of it takes place in like the van with the guys talking, and pretty much Anri revealing her Saika abilities to everyone, and Namine being a piece of shit because she likes to ruin moments. And this is a really good moment. This is a really good episode primarily because of that reason. It's an episode that pretty much allows Anri to kind of trust herself and to have faith in herself. Because as I said, through the beginning of the series, Anri's biggest problem is that she's had no self-worth whatsoever. Like, Anri does not value herself at all. And I'm sorry if you hear fans, it's hot. It's fucking hot, and it's already March. I'm like, God, this is going to be terrible. It's a joy of living in the South in the summer. It's not going to get any better. But see, Anri never viewed herself with any value as a human being. She didn't even view herself as a human being. She viewed herself as a parasite. And as the series went on and it progressed, and she started gaining more and more relationships with people, she started to change as a person, which is why in this last part specifically, and probably throughout season 2 in general, she's been going through like this fucking identity crisis where she doesn't know what she is. That's one of the reasons why I found her interactions with I want to say Miss Niwakawa, but what is her fucking first name? I forget her first name. Because everyone's been calling her Miss Niwakawa these last few episodes, and I don't remember her first name. Her interactions with her and Kujiri were interesting, because she even goes, she's like, what am I? And she's like, you told me you were a parasite. She goes, oh, right, that's right. Like, she fucking forgot. And it's because she's been changing. She's been constantly changing and becoming more and more of the person. I feel like this was the tipping point. This was you are not, just because you're different doesn't necessarily mean we're afraid of you. Because she even goes, she feels like she's finally kind of hit this place of where she's happy, and she feels like she can be herself. She's like in a safe place. And I really like her line where she's like, I'm gonna force Masaomi and Mikado into this hole. Pretty much meaning, and it's kind of a cute moment where she's like, look, even though she isn't at the part where she acknowledges that she loves Mikado, it's still kind of implied. This is a good progression point for her. Because it's pretty much her coming into the realization of like, yeah, I'm fucking, I'm bringing them in here with me. Which is funny because the old Anri wouldn't even have thought of doing anything like that. So it's a good sense of progression. I also like the comparisons Shinra ends up making between his group of friends and Mikado. And we pretty much get to see who is who in these situations. Anri is Shinra, which really all I say is Anri is a fusion of Shinra and Celti. That's literally what Anri is in that group. Because Salty's kind of considered a fourth member, even though she's not really official. But because Shinra always talked about her back then, it kind of felt like she was part of the group, even though back then she had no interest in Shinra whatsoever. That's something that's built up over time. And I would argue it's partially Stockholm Syndrome. She's kind of just gotten used to him being around. But it kind of shows, I like the dynamic and kind of the comparison he makes between their group and Mikado's group. Because in terms of who's who, Anri, Shinra, and Salty, Mikado, Izaya, and Masaomi Shizuo. It's almost the same dynamic. And if you even look at their relationships as of right now, it seems relatively similar. That Mikado has, I mean, not Mikado, but Mikado's doing the same kind of trickery and bullshit that fucking Izaya does. And Masaomi's way of fixing this is destroying the dollars, aka beating the shit out of him, aka what the fuck Shizuo wants to do with Izaya. And I'm really interested to see that once Shizuo, because I'm curious, does Shizuo mean to kill Izaya or just beat the shit out of him? I'm curious to see how that dynamic ends. That's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to seeing how Shizuo ends up beating Izaya. Because, I mean, we know it's going to happen. I'm just curious if it's going to be as simple him beating the shit out of him, or it's going to be like, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm more inclined to believe it's just going to beat the shit out of him. Like, he's hit that, I feel like Shizuo has hit that point now where he doesn't feel, his anger towards Izaya is still there, but it's nowhere near what he thought it would be. Like, it's going to come down to the nitty gritty. He's going to be like, wow, I think I'm done. And Izaya's going to be like, what? He's going to be like, yeah, I think I'm done. And Izaya's like, really? He's like, yeah, I think I've done all I needed to do with you. I think I'm at ease. I think I'm good. Like, I literally think that's how it's going to go. I think literally Shizuo's going to hit that point where he's going to be like, fuck it. I'm good. I'm satisfied. And Izaya's going to be looking there stunned as fuck, like, after all of this, and this is all you're going to do. He's like, yeah, I think I'm good. I don't know why. I have a sneaking suspicion that's going to be what it is. Or it's going to be something relatively cheesy like, yeah, we're friends. It's like, Shinra would be sad if I killed you. Like, it's going to be something along the lines that kind of breaks what you think is going to happen. But as far as the dynamic goes, the one thing he mentions in the episode is like, see, the difference between us and them was, and ironically enough, it's kind of funny, that they didn't keep secrets. fucking Shizuo, Shinra, and Izaya, respectively, never kept secrets. None of them ever really hid anything that was going on. So it's kind of interesting that the characters who don't try to hide anything from each other are the ones that have the most broken and haphazard relationship, and the people who do try to hide things from each other will probably end up being, well, I wouldn't say closer friends, but I guess that's kind of what I mean. They're not, because I don't know if either way is right or wrong, and that's kind of an interesting point to bring up. Do you view one as right and do you view one as wrong, or do you think they're both right in their own ways? I don't know. I think it's an interesting dynamic, and it's something that kind of gets me. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm very curious to see how anyone else feels about it. Do you think that? I don't know. It's just kind of a thought running in my head. But I like the comparison, and I like how it seems like. Also, someone also didn't mention in the comments section that apparently in the light novels, Izaya does show regret about hiding Salty's head, which I guess gets deeper into his more humanizing element. Because it's not like, the thing about Izaya is that Izaya isn't really as much of a dick as he's more of he's a fraidy cat. He's afraid of being hurt, so he just kind of defaults himself into a shitty, he's kind of like an asshole who's only really an asshole to protect himself. He's not an asshole because he really is. Well, I mean, granted, Izaya is probably still an asshole on some level, but I think the way he acts is partially also due to the fact that he just wants to protect himself. I would argue he's a perfected Mikado in that way. He seems like a Mikado, who was like, I don't want to deal with this shit, so I'm just gonna cut myself off, which is essentially what he did, and then kind of just do whatever the fuck I want to do. Because like Mikado wants to be abnormal, just like I think Izaya wants to be abnormal. But Izaya is also interested in the humans and to see what they will and not do. Like, I feel like it almost feels like in some aspects Izai's trying to learn how to be human in some aspects. Just watching other people do shit. I'm not totally sure. You know, Izai is one of those characters that like makes you very interested just from all the subtle things about him. Because it's obvious that he's sensitive as fuck, but he at the same time he seems to also be disconnected, which is partially due to the fact that that just kind of goes more and more into the fact that the face that he's currently wearing right now is a facade, kind of like Mikado's is in some ways. The only other thing of note to bring up is that, and this is also another episode that shows how conniving Mikado is. Mikado may not be super strong, but it's not the physically strong ones you need to worry about. It's the ones that are smart and resourceful. Them motherfuckers are the most dangerous. Like, if all I gotta do is punch you in the face, I ain't really worried too much. But if you're a strategist, I'm like, bro, I gotta go. I got to go because this nigga knows how to think. Fuck that. I'm out. Fuck this shit. I'm out. That's like the second time I've referenced that. And then we got this, the threatening call from Takashi. Also, I guess I'll put this as a little spoiler because I already know this. Anri's gonna end up on the building. Anri's gonna end up on the building at some point. I don't know how and I don't know when, but she's gonna end up on the building. Because at the end of the episode, we actually see Saki and Saki and fucking Anri. Oh, sorry. Saki and Anri try to call Mikado and Masaomi respectively, even though Mikado sees the number. I also like the fact that their reunion is a very ironic callback to the beginning of the series, where it's like, number 1, it's Masao Mikita. Number 2, it's Masao Mikita. Or number 3, it's Masao Mikita. And it's like the same gag, but in reverse. Like, 1, you're Mikado Ragumine. 2, you're Mikado it's a tongue twister. Fuck! Mikado yeah, it is. Try to say Mikado Ragumine like 5 times in succession. Mikado Ragumine. Yeah, nope. That's a test. See if you can do it. Cookie if you do. And don't lie in the comments and say you did. I don't want to hear that shit. Next episode should be interesting because it seems like it's the psychic confrontation. Oh wait, her name is Haruna, isn't it? Haruna? Yeah, I think her name is Haruna. I think Miss Niwakawa is Haruna. I think that's her name. I might be wrong. Also, Erica gag was funny, and the Walker. I always fuck that name. I think it's Walker. And Walker's gag was funny, where it's like, I want the power of the blade, and I want to learn how to use it. And he's like, well, then you'll get the curse of loving people. And then Walker is like, people? You mean like 3D people? I'm like, you UFO Jason would get along so well. I'd be like, this 3D pig disgusting. Oh, man. I liked the episode. It was a good development episode for Anri and an interesting insight between the correlation of... It actually makes me feel like that there's like a Durarara prequel that focuses on Shinra, Izaya, and Shizuo. I'm actually very curious if there was any ever thought to put in a prequel. Because I feel like that would be interesting in its own right. I don't know why. I just feel like it would be. But overall, good episode. We're kind of getting down to the wire. I think we have like 2 more weeks left. And then we're done. Signed, we're done unless they want to animate the sequel series, which I think is still going on. So, fuck it. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game to the win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.